Well, this is quite the tidy little profit. Bought this coin back in 2017, £475, rather neatly. It's got its troy ounce weight on the back, nearly half an ounce of gold, which of course right now is worth nearly £1,400, which is crazy. That return is amazing. So should I cash it out and take that profit? It certainly is quite tempting, but also the gold bug in me is saying hold this for even longer because it's going to go up. It's keeping to go up. And look, I'm not giving financial advice. I can't see where the markets are headed. But if I was to sell this now, I would have, I think, a little bit of a regretty spaghetti moment. And that would suck for me. But for other people, it might be right. So I want to talk today about selling at all-time highs. Is now the time to sell, or is now the time to hold? Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another Precious Metal Ramble where we have down-to-earth discussions about all things precious and shiny. Now with gold being at all-time highs and silver, certainly for us in the UK at least, at all-time highs. You in America, I'm sure that will happen very soon indeed. It seems that upward trajectory will never end at the moment. It does beg the question, is now a good time to maybe look to sell your silver and gold? I know for me, if I've been completely honest with myself, some of the coins I've got have got a really quite tasty return. This coin here, bought for £475, it's a $10 gold coin. It's probably worth, just on spot price alone, £1,350. So a near £900 return on a £475 investment, almost tripled. That's pretty crazy really. And it does make you think about taking a bit of profit out of some of the gold. Now for me, I have this other hat on my head, which is changed somewhat since the early days of my stacking journey. Rather than just a little bit of a quick turnaround profit, I want to preserve wealth. I want to keep this money that I've got locked up in this coin safe from just burning away into insignificance because of the way the world is going right now. But I do see a lot of people looking to sell right now. I know the bullion dealers are busier than ever. Not just from the selling side, they are buying a lot of gold and silver right now. And when prices go up significantly, it is a sign of the times that you see people looking to sell. So I wanted to do a bit of a commentary on my thoughts right now about selling. It's going to be different for every different person and their own financial circumstances. There's no one-shot answer to say that now is the right time to sell. You know, I firmly believe that gold and silver will continue to rise in price over the coming years. It's very important to say that I can't see where things are going in the market, but you know, from my perspective, over a long period of time, there is only one direction that gold and silver can really go. It will have its ups and downs, and there could be a pullback at some point, which would signal potentially a bit of a buying opportunity for some. But I generally feel that right now, having this stuff is super important for me and for a lot of other people too. So getting rid of it would maybe feel like a little bit of a regretty spaghetti moment. And I'm definitely seeing some of that in action. There's a few circumstances I've seen talked about recently where people have sold some silver or gold and then they've seen prices go up. You know, on the same day even, they've gone up a lot, and people then have this moment of, I think, just, it's human. I guess it's, you know, natural to really have that regret moment when you see prices go up and you go, if only I'd held it for that extra couple of hours and the price has gone up even more, or you know, hold it over that weekend and then you open, like this week, you open the markets and you see that silver and gold have shot up yet again first thing, and £2,800 an ounce this week for gold, up from £2,700 an ounce just like 3 days earlier. There is no doubt that that is a human reaction to have that regret moment. But if, say, I do decide to look to sell some of my gold and silver, some of the older stuff that I've got, for example, the reasons why I'd want to do that would have to be very clear. I'd have to say in my mind, well, look, you know, I'm going to be selling because I've got some bills to pay, or I want to put that money into other investments, or I want to make some pension contributions for myself, you know, invest in the stocks and shares markets, or perhaps I want to cash out of some of my gold and buy some more silver. Perhaps I want to cash out of my silver and buy some more gold. There is a lot of different reasons why people might want to do that. Perhaps, like for me, I might want to put some more money into the poured silver side of the business, buying stock for 2026. Crazy times that we're in. How fast 2025 is going. By the way, our poured silver bars are 2025. We've only got limited numbers left. I think there's about 10 left unallocated in the pre-sale, and those will be going up on the website in the next week or so for the remaining items available. So crazy times and considering all-time highs. If you're interested, drop me an email for the last few days of the pre-sale. But if I was to sell, I would very much want to do it for those specific reasons. And what I would say for anyone is, if you are selling and you're already in profit, like this coin, if I sell this coin tomorrow for £1,350, which is approximately spot price, then that's the decision I've made. And if I've got a clear reason for doing that, then I wouldn't really feel too much regret on it. And part of that is because I know that I will probably end up buying some more gold or silver at some point anyway. And, along the way of my stacking journey, I've sold bits of gold and taken out bits of profit from it for various reasons. But I've also gone and bought more gold along my journey as well. And I'm continuing to do that. So part of me is like, it doesn't really matter in the long scheme of things. And another sage word of advice, which I had from a very, very good friend of mine the other day, when I was just talking about the research for this very subject, talking about regrets of selling and people having, I feel sort of somewhat irrational reactions to when markets change and you've just made that decision to sell, that, if you've sold and you've made a profit on something, that's a good thing. And, a lot of the people who maybe are selling right now are selling because they've got long-term gains that they want to realize. Perhaps they are taking up their capital gains allowances so in the UK you can sell only a certain amount, make a certain amount of profit before you have to give some of the profits away to the government in capital gains taxes. The tax man always wants their due on things like Krugerrands and gold bars and various things like that. So there are reasons why people sell, and ultimately I don't feel like it should be any regrets. And what I would say from personal experience as well, having been in business now for nearly 9-10 years, well, 10 years is our anniversary next year, so 9 years currently, I'm starting to accumulate the gold and silver that I'll need for 2026's operations. What I would say is that it goes both ways. I've had times when I've bought silver and gold and then the price plummets. And I always say to people, just feel, who have regrets. And I've talked with people, I've had a few sellers in the past who've sold, and then, a couple of days later they'll email me and go, well, I chose the wrong time to sell because prices have gone up. I'm like, look, you can't control the markets, and I've seen it go both ways. I've seen prices plummet. In fact, I've had people come the polar opposite and email me a couple of weeks afterwards going, well, we timed that right, didn't we? And I'm like, well, it's just the market and presented what we are with on the day, and we sell and we take the reaps and rewards and the pits and the falls from it as you go. And certainly I've experienced that. I've sold and bought stuff, prices have changed drastically, and you just feel, oh God, why did I not wait? Or you can't predict it. And for anybody to think that anybody in particular can predict it, if you could, then you would put your net worth on a silver and gold ETF, and then you'd cash it out, and you'd be well, maybe not a million. It depends on what your net worth would be to start with, but you would make millions over a long period of time. We just don't have that information. We don't have that capacity. And I think it's only human to have these regrets. But one thing that I don't regret is just having it and holding it, because that's the way you make the best returns on gold and silver over a long period of time. You just hold it, you just love it, you just keep it, and you don't worry about it. And I think you just look at some of the prices paid on some of these bits of gold that I've got, and you just feel like, yeah, okay, these are just ridiculously good prices that you'll never see again. And to sell right now only to rebuy in the future feels a bit silly. But if I've got bills to pay, I will. It's very simple. So I hope that all kind of has landed with some of you. I think that there's a bit of kind of a strange shift in the world. And I'm going to sort of finish up with a few minutes of a really observational ramble about the state of society, I think, right now. And it's a bit telling when it comes to this stuff. And it's an observation I've seen from social media, from interactions with the public and interactions with other people in business, let's say, that there does seem to be a bit of a dog-eat-dog culture that has evolved. Certainly in the world of gold and silver, we've seen it since the kind of bubble collapsed of collectibles and flippers, and people making a quick buck has now become, it seems, the norm. And if you're not making a quick buck on something, then it's not worth it. And I do see this more and more. I do see that mentality creeping into society more. And I liken it to this. So a few years ago, maybe it's sort of, pre-Brexit, pre-COVID, isolationism, individualization. There's a lot that's changed in the world, and people are just after it for themselves now, it seems. And before this, this is my casual observation of society. You get more people now who are just brazenly not caring. They don't care about their fellow man. They don't care about society. They'll park in disabled bays. They'll just park in 2 bays in the shopping centre because they don't care about other people. They'll steal a parking space when someone else is waiting. That's happened to me a few times. It's hilarious. You know, people in society will just, they won't open doors for you. They won't hold doors open. They won't say please. They won't say thank you. Even just like going down a country road and you say thank you for letting somebody by, they don't acknowledge it. It's just small things like that. Everyone's just in their own mindset. And I've seen it creeping more into the world of business too, where people just want the earth and everything, and they ask for a discount on everything. They, you know, I get it. People at times are hard and everything, but it is just very dog eat dog right now. And greed, I think, fuels that. I think everyone out for themselves feels that as well. But there is just no common decency, it seems, in general. Now, there are exceptions to that, and there are plenty of exceptions to that within this community. There are a lot of really good people in this community, and I don't want this to be a community bashing video because 99% of the community is good, but there are some bad eggs out there that I've dealt with in the past. There are bad eggs that still are out there that are yet to show their true colours, but they're behind closed doors. A really interesting analogy here is I always liken this story to a very, very good episode of the TV programme Frasier. And for those who might not be familiar with it, it's one of my favourite TV shows of all time. But basically, there was an episode where the main character, Frasier, is driving home from work on a really rainy, stormy night. And he sees a lady on the side of the road. In the rain, no umbrella, struggling. And he pulls over and picks her up. Now, this is a dream that Frasier's having. It turns out, in the dream, that the lady is a lady of the night, let's say. And in that dream, he then gets arrested, pulled over, and his world falls apart. And when he was justifying this to his father, Martin, he said that he'd been brought up by Martin, that it was the decisions one makes when nobody else is looking that defines what kind of a character you are and what kind of character you have. And I really like that analogy. It's the things that we do when nobody else knows, that nobody else observes and nobody else looks at us and judges us on, that really defines what is truly right within us. And so the people who behind closed doors will just do immoral things and scam people or be less than transparent about various things, I feel that speaks more about them than it does anything else. And I've always tried my best in business to be as open and honest and do the right thing for people behind those closed doors. And I think that's the way that the world should be. It's not, unfortunately, the way I feel the world is in the majority right now, unfortunately. But anyway, look, I have gone on for long enough as a bit of a wistful ramble on the state of society. Do let me know if you feel the same way down in the comments section. And if you are in the Cool Kids Club, then I've got a special little number here to quote me, which is 0.4837, which is the weight, precious metal content of this $10 gold coin bought. It's £475. What a bargain. From M. Vessid & Co. all the way back in 2017. Fantastic. Anyway, that's my ramble over. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next one. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.